Carboxylic acid. Okay, class, we learned about naming aliphatic carboxylic acid. For now, we discuss about carboxylic acid as a parent's name. So for example, now we highlight the carboxyl group and try to find the longest carbon change and give number for that. Okay, this is number 1, number 2, 3, 4, and 5. Highlight your substituent and give name based on that position. So it is 4-bromo 3-methyl pentanoic acid. Now we discuss about carboxylic acid with carbon-carbon double bond. So it should be named as X alkanoic acid. X is the position of carbon-carbon double bond. So again, identify your carboxyl group. Start numbering from there to give you the longest carbon change. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then identify your substituents and locate the position of carbon-carbon double bond. So the structure should be 5-methyl 3-hexanoic acid. Next, we learned about aliphatic dicarboxylic acid. Means we have 2 carboxyl group. So we name as alkane dioic acid. So for example, this is your carboxyl on the left and carboxyl on the right. So we have to make sure that the position of this substituent lowest possible. So we have to start numbering from the left. This is number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Structure 3-methyl hexane dioic acid. Now we go to naming aliphatic cyclic carboxylic acid. So we have 2, which is first cyclo with alkane and second cyclo with alkene. Example, this is your structure. So that carboxyl always as a carbon number 1. So the structure should be cyclopentane carboxylic acid. For this example, on the right side, so again, your carboxyl should be carbon number 1. And then we have to make sure that the position of substituent lowest possible. So we have to follow clockwise. This is number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5, and number 6. So this is your substituents. And this is the position of carbon-carbon double bond at carbon number 2. The structure 3-methyl 2-cyclohexane carboxylic acid. So next, we discuss about naming aliphatic cyclic dicarboxylic acid. So 1-act cycloalkane and 1-act cycloalkene. So again, we discuss about alkane versus alkene. So first, one of that carboxyl should be carbon number 1. So the next one should be to give the next carboxylic acid lowest possible. Example, this is your carbon number 1. So of course, this should be carbon number 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So the structure 1,2-cyclohexane dicarboxylic acid. For the next example, so again class, this should be your carbon number 1, carbon number 2, number 3, 4, 5, and 6. So the position of next carboxyl group at carbon number 2. At carbon number 1, we get carbon-carbon double bond. And at carbon number 4, we get chlorine. The structure is 4-chloro, 1,2-cyclohex, 1 dicarboxylic acid. Okay, now class, we discuss about naming aromatic carboxylic acid. When benzene ring attached to carboxyl group, we call it benzoic acid. So, we give numbering from here, number 1, 2, 3, 4. And this is your substituent. So, the structure is 4-chloro-benzoic acid. Next, naming aromatic dicarboxylic acid means benzene with 2 carboxyl group. So, for example, this is your carboxyl group. Give number 1, number 2, number 3, 4, 5, 6. So, the position of the next carboxyl at carbon number 3. Structure 1,3-benzene dicarboxylic acid. So, for the second example, so again, we try to give the number of that carboxyl group. This is carbon number 1, number 2, number 3, and number 4. Also 5 and 6. Why we numbering from the bottom carboxyl group? Because to give the position of this substituent lowest possible. So the structure should be 2 isopropyl 1,4-benzene dicarboxylic acid.